Imagine being able to ask questions about any document and get instant accurate answers all through Telegram. So let me give you an example. Imagine your company's HR team can upload policy documents so employees can ask, how many vacation days do I get? And the bot replies, employees at Let's Rock Media get 20 vacation days per year if they have 3 to 5 years of service. If you have 6 or more years of service, you are entitled to 25 vacation days per year. And you can ask other questions like, what's your company's work from home policy? Let's ask that. As you can see, we get this reply here, and you can do the same with voice as well. Let me try it out. How many vacation days do I get? As you can see, we get the same reply here. So by the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to create a document-aware AI assistant that works with your existing files. So let's dive in. So before we build, let's quickly understand what we're creating. The system uses a concept called RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation. And here's how it works. So you upload documents to a specific Google Drive folder. As you can see, in my case, I created this Google Drive folder right here called Let's Rock Media Company. And then basically those documents are automatically processed and stored in a vector database. And when someone asks a question in Telegram, the system searches for relevant information in the database, passes that context to an AI model, and returns a precise answer based on your documents. Okay, so what we will build, let me show you an n8n. What we will build are 3 interconnected n8n workflows. So we have the chatbot workflow, which is this right here, which handles user questions and delivers answers. We have the document upload workflow, which processes new files added to the Google Drive. And we have the document update workflow, which keeps the database current when files change. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a Telegram bot. And don't worry, it's very easy. All you have to do is you have to open this URL, which is Telegram. Let me put it in here. Telegram.me/BotFather. And as you see, this will open this page right here. And then you can start the bot or open it in Telegram if you have the Telegram app on your Mac or your Windows. Then when you click here, it will open the chat right here. And as you can see, I already have some history right here because I created this already. But basically, let me show you. What you will do is you will click on the start button at the start, and then you enter new bot right here, like I did right here. And then it asks you how you want to call your bot, and you have to choose a name. For example, I chose Let's Rock Media _bot, and then you need a username. In this case, it's very important that you have no space. I use the same name, but here I could use a name with space. And then for the username, I am not allowed to have any space, and it has to end with the word bot. And as you can see here, as I already had a bot before this, I had to change the name to Let's Rock Media 1 bot, and then it worked, and it gave me this API token, which we will need. We need this API token to create a connection to n8n. So let's go to the main workflow. Let's open that, and let me show you how this works. So first thing we need here in this workflow is the Telegram trigger. And when we open that, it's already connected to my Telegram account, but if you just created this will look like this. You can open it and you have to put in your credentials. And this access token right here is the one I was just talking about that BotFather gives you. You can just click on it. It copies it to your clipboard, and then you can enter it right here. And then when you see this green check mark, you know that it's connected properly. That's all you need to see. Then you can go back, and then it has to trigger on a message. Very important that you put this in right here as well. That's all you have to do for this trigger right here. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to tell Telegram where to send messages, and we do that with a terminal window. Especially in Mac, you just open your terminal, and as you can see, I have some history here again, And yeah, which is perfect because you can basically just copy that. This is exactly the command that you need, which starts here at the curl. And all you need to do then when you copy this command until here is that in here for API key, you have to replace it by the token that you got from the BotFather. So just replace those exactly the API key, not the bot, not the slash, just the API key. And the webhook URL, let me show you how you get that. You got to replace it by, when you go to the Telegram trigger again, you open it, and as you can see here on the top, it says webhook URLs. You have the test URL, which you can use if you just want to test the workflow and it's not active and it's not live, then you can use this one. But if you want to set everything live, then you have to use the production URL and replace it in the terminal right here. And once you press enter, then you should see that it says webhook was set. And if you see that it was successful, and now whenever someone messages your bot, it will trigger your n8n workflow right here. And that's all you need to do for the connection. So let's go over the different workflows in n8n step by step. Let me make this a little bigger and let's go over the different nodes step by step. So to set up our main chatbot workflow, as we just talked about, we need the Telegram trigger. We went over that already. But the next thing is we need a rule-based router node, which basically, if you know a little bit about programming, is just an if node. Basically what it does, it checks what comes as a message in Telegram. And if it's a voice message, it routes it one route. And if it's a text message, it routes it the other route. And as you can see here on the bottom, it's for the text, incoming text message. And on the top, it's for an incoming voice message, which gets downloaded here by this download voice message node. And then it gets transcribed by our OpenAI node right here, and it gets sent to the RAG agent. So that's why it works as a voice and text like I showed you in the beginning. Now the setup for the RAG agent, what you need here is we need to connect to OpenAI. GPT-4 works well right here, but you can use GPT 3.5 to save costs as well. Then we need to add a window buffer memory to remember the conversation context. And you want to set the session ID to the Telegram chat right here and the context window length to 5. And basically, as you can see here, what this is how many past interactions the AI model should receive as context. This is basically how much memory the AI has. So it has 5 past messages as memory. You can increase the number right here, but it will cost you more tokens then. And then we need to connect to our vector database tool, which is all this thing right here. So first thing is we have a vector store tool. You want to give it a descriptive name, like for example, I gave it Let's Rock Media Policies and just a description right here. And this we need to connect it to our Supabase database. And you can simply create, I'm already in here, you will see the project and everything. I have everything prepared, but just go to supabase.com and create a simple database for free on Supabase. And I will show you exactly how to connect everything in a second. But again, supabase.com. And you can start for completely free. As you can see, I got a free account here as well for the demonstration. So yeah, no need for anything fancy. And I'm going to show you how to set everything up in a second. But if you go here, let's set up the agent's system message. We go to the RAG agent. And as you can see here, we got the system message right here, which basically you define the purpose of the RAG agent. So in here, you put things like your Let's Rock Media's company policy assistant, stuff like that. As you can see, I got a bunch of text, which basically just lets the agent know what it's supposed to do. You explain the available tools that it has, you set clear rules about what it should and shouldn't answer, and you provide examples of good interactions so it knows how to properly respond. And then the last thing you need to do is you have to add a Telegram node to send responses back to the users after they ask the question. And now your chatbot workflow is set up to receive questions and provide answers. Now let's talk about how to set up the Supabase vector database. So like I said, to store document information for retrieval, we'll use Supabase. You go to supabase.com and you create an account for free if you don't have one. And then you create a new project. I already have a project, but let's go back to all projects. And right here, you just click on new project. And then what you need to do once you've created this project, mine is Let's Rock Media, you go inside the project, and now we have to connect it, like I said, to n8n. And what we need, if we open this node right here, you will see if we go here, I'm already connected, but your credentials that you need is the host and the service role secret. Now, you can always ask the AI assistant, which is great in giving you instructions on how to connect everything. So I used it myself. It really gives you detailed instructions, but let me show you how you do it. It's very simple. You go in here and then you go down to the project settings, and then you go to data API. And as you can see here, we got this URL, which you can copy, which is the first, which is the host. And then the next thing, the service role secret is right here. You can just click on reveal, and then you can copy it and you put it in right here. And then again, you should see this green check mark that the connection was successful. And that's basically all you got to do to connect it. And then also you want to make sure that you chose the right table name, which is documents, which basically this is where everything will be stored in our database. And yeah, it needs to know where to retrieve all the data of our document from. So now let's build the workflow that processes documents when they're uploading to Google Drive. So the first thing you need is a Google Drive trigger node. You got to connect your Google Drive right here. It's already connected for me. This is, I wouldn't say it's complicated. Again, ask the AI assistant and it really helps you out. Just a little tip here to make it easier for you, because I had this issue as well in the beginning. You want to use a Google Workspace account to connect here. Get a Google Workspace account. It's pretty cheap. If you need that for your company, you should be able to afford, I don't know, $10 per month or whatever it is. And then you won't have any issues. And then you just ask the AI assistant on how to get the OAuth, redirect URL, the client ID, and the client secret. It's very self-explanatory. You just have to go to the Google Cloud Console and you will get all the details here. Again, the AI assistant will tell you exactly how to get this. But what you want to set here in this node is that you wanted to monitor a specific folder. In my case, it's the Let's Rock Media company policies. As you can see here, it's triggering on changes involving a specific folder, which is this folder right here. And then it should watch for a new file that's being created. So then the next node right here is where we add an information extraction node to get the file ID. Then you add a Google Drive node to download the new file that was uploaded. And when you open that, you set the operation to download. You pass the file ID right here. And very important, you want to set the Google file conversion to convert Google Docs to text. And this is exactly what we are doing right here. Next thing is we want to add a text extraction node to convert the binary data to usable text, because especially GPT can't read binary data, so we have to convert it to usable text. And this is basically what we do here. The input binary field is data, and it gives the output field right here. And then we send this to the Supabase vector store database. So to configure the vector database upload, what we have to do is we have to add a default data loader node, which is this one, to prepare document data. Then we set the metadata to include the file ID for future reference. Then we want to add a text splitter node, which usually is recursive character text splitter. If we open it right here, basically what it does is it splits up your text from your document in chunks of 300 characters. You can change that up to 1,000 characters depending on how big your document is. But yeah, basically it splits it up to give it to the database in chunk size. And the chunk overlap, usually it's 10%. I set it to 50 right here. You can set it to 30, whatever you like. But yeah, that's what you need. Then we add an embedding node using OpenAI's text embedding 3 small model right here. And then connect your Supabase vector database with everything, and then this whole workflow is good to go. And when this workflow runs, it will take any new document from your Google Drive folder, process it, and make it available for your chatbot to reference. Now the last workflow we need to build is the document update workflow. So why do we need this? Obviously, we want to ensure that our system stays current when documents change. So you want to create another Google Drive trigger node. You want to set it to monitor the same folder here again, but this time you configure it to trigger when a file is updated. Then you want to set an appropriate polling schedule. In this case, it's every day, but depending on how often you update your folder, you can set it to every hour, for example. Now we add a Supabase node to delete existing rows in our database because we have to update them. So we have to delete the old rows. So as you can see here, it's connected to our Supabase account again. The target is the documents table in the Supabase database, and then we create a filter to delete only rows matching the updated file's ID right here. Then we add an information extraction node to isolate this file ID again. And then we repeat the same document processing nodes from the upload workflow that we had before. So we want to download the updated file, we want to extract text, and we want to split everything into chunks right here. We want to create embeddings and upload everything to the vector database. And this ensures that when you modify a document in your Google Drive folder, your chatbot would always have the latest information. So let's test our complete system with a real Let's Rock Media example again. So what you need to make sure before you do that, you want to activate all the 3 workflows, and you want to make sure that in your Google Drive folder, you have uploaded an employee handbook. You can see mine right here is something that ChatGPT has created for me, and that will answer all the questions that I will ask the Telegram bot. So for example, something that we haven't asked in the beginning is how many sick days do I get per year at Let's Rock Media? As you can see here, it gives us a short and sweet answer. Let's Rock Media, you are entitled to 12 days of sick leave per year. So basically, you have built a powerful document Q&A system right now that allows anyone to interact with your documents through natural language in Telegram. And these applications can be used for endless things. So for example, this could be an HR policy bot that answers employees' questions instantly. It could be an onboarding assistant that helps new hires navigate company procedures. You could use it for benefits information that explain healthcare and retirement options. It could be used as compliance assistant that ensures everyone follows company protocols, and so on. So you can also enhance the system By customizing the AI agent's personality, you could add formatting to the responses, you could enable follow-up questions, you could expand the types of documents it can process. So there are so many possibilities to use this bot. And if you found this valuable, please like, subscribe. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.